If you've watched some of my previous videos, you've probably seen me doing some advanced leg exercises like pistol squats and maybe jump squats like these in my hotel room. But how did I go from beginner to these types of leg exercises with only body weight? Well, if you've seen my beginner routine video, you know that I recommend full body circuits. Now, once you've been doing full body circuits for 2 or 3 months, you might want to start changing it up, and split routines is the best way to do that. A split routine is when you divide your body into movements or muscle groups. For example, push-pull legs, being where you have a push workout on one day, a pull workout on another, and then a leg workout. And another example would be upper body, lower body, where you alternate between upper and lower body from day to day. And also bent arm, straight arm legs is another split that I've used when I'm focusing a lot on different upper body skills. So in this video, I want to help you ease into split routines, starting with a leg workout. By combining basic bodyweight leg exercises with slightly more complex movements, you can hit all the muscles in your lower body to build strength, endurance, and power without needing any equipment whatsoever. And as a little bonus, I'll show you more advanced exercises you can use to make this workout more challenging. So, the first thing I want to point out in this video is that I'm not wearing any shoes. I'm only wearing socks. And the reason why is because I want you to see that I'm curling my toes up, just like that. The reason why I'm curling my toes up is because I want to force the weight, the majority of the load, to be on my heels. Over time, if you do a lot of squatting and lunging with the weight on your toes, it can lead to knee injuries in the future and joint pain. So instead, check out how the majority of my weight is on my heels because my toes are up. That's how you want to do your squats and leg exercises. Alright, let's start off by looking at the first exercise, reverse lunges. With feet close together, step one foot back, bending the front leg to about 90 degrees. Alternate legs from rep to rep, and make sure you keep your core nice and tight. That'll help stabilize you and keep you from toppling over while you do this. The force to come out of the lunge should primarily come from the front leg, specifically the muscles of the thigh, like the quads and the hamstrings, and you should press with your heel into the ground. Here's a front view in case that helps, and also you can put your arms out to the side like you have wings. I'm about to do that right there, and by doing that, it's really going to help you with balance. So if you find yourself kind of swaying from side to side and having trouble, put your arms out like that. It'll really help, or hold on to something like a couch or a table next to you. Next, we're going to look at squat with calf raise. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, toes angled slightly outwards. Make sure you're leaning back on the heels and not forward on the toes. Squat down, sticking your butt out, and then when you come up to the top, stand up on your tippy toes for a calf raise. Notice how I'm holding my arms straight out in front of me so they're parallel to the floor. I like doing that because it keeps me looking straight ahead or even slightly upwards so I don't hunch forward too much. You don't want to lean forward a lot when you're doing squats, and I see a lot of people doing that. So if you want, hold your arms straight out in front of you and try to keep them level while you do your squats. Also, here's a side view so you can see how much I stick my butt out as I go down to the bottom of the rep. And also, I want to mention that a calf raise is the only time that you want to put weight on your toes when you're doing leg exercises. And archer squats. Alright, this is one of my favorites. Stand in a nice wide stance. Feet should be wider than shoulder width apart. Toes facing slightly outwards, maybe 30 or 45 degrees. And make sure you're on the heels again, lift up those toes a little bit. I like to put my arms straight out in front of me. And you're going to squat to the side, leaning to the side, bending the knee of one leg and straightening the other. Alternate sides from rep to rep, and take this nice and slow at first. It's kind of a complex movement and takes some getting used to. Archer squats simultaneously build strength in the outer thigh muscles while improving flexibility for the inner thigh muscles. So if while you're doing this you feel like you can't quite go low enough, maybe the outstretched leg feels really tight, just keep going with it. Just do the best you can, go as low as you comfortably can, and you will improve your flexibility as you practice this. And again, here's a side view. Not a whole lot to see here, but I do want to point out that my toes are up, right? I am putting all of my weight on my heels, and I'm really sticking my butt out that's important whenever you do any squat movement. You really want your hips to move back and your butt to stick out. And the fourth exercise for the circuit is the single leg glute raise. Start off by laying on your back, and then once you're comfortable, bend the legs at the knees to about 90 degrees. What you're going to do is use your glutes, the muscles in your butt, to press one heel down into the floor and raise your hips up to form a straight line with your body. I also like to extend the opposite leg to form that straight line. Alternate legs from rep to rep, because in the beginning this will be a very difficult exercise. So by alternating legs, you're giving each leg a small rest from rep to rep. This is another complex movement, so make sure you take your time and get used to it. But eventually you'll be able to speed it up a little bit, and when you do that, it'll start to feel like you're marching while laying down. Sounds strange, but that's exactly how it feels. This is a great exercise for the glutes, but it also works your core as well, because at the top, when you're forming that straight line, that bridge, it's really working your core too. Now, if this is too difficult doing single leg, that's perfectly fine. You can also do it with both feet on the floor. This is a standard glute raise or hip raise, whatever you want to call it, and you can use this double foot variation to build up the strength. Also do it isometrically if you want, and just hold the top position until you're ready to do the single leg variation. Now let's look at an example 4x4 circuit using those exercises. And just so you know, when I say 4x4 circuit, it means 4 exercises done for 4 rounds. You can do as many exercises or rounds as you want, but I find that 4x4 is a good starting point. So I start off the circuit with my first exercise, reverse lunges, and I'm alternating sides rep by rep, aiming for 20 reps total or 10 reps per side. If you watch carefully, you'll see that I'm swinging an arm across my chest as I do these, and the reason why I do that is I found that it helps me maintain balance when I do the reverse lunges kind of quickly. By swinging an arm across like that, it just helps me from toppling from side to side. You might find some other thing you can do, or maybe your balance is great and you don't have to worry about it, but for me, that's what I do. It just helps me out. So I complete my set of lunges, and then I go straight into a shoulder width stance with my feet angled slightly out so I can do my squats with calf raises. Remember, when you do these, to keep the weight, or at least the majority of the weight, on the soles of your feet and the heels while you go down into the squat. And of course, when you come up onto the toes for the calf raise, then you're on the toes. There's no way getting around that. But a calf raise is really the only exception when you want to have your weight on the balls of your feet or the toes. So I fast forwarded through those 20 reps. I didn't want this video to be too long, and I go straight into a wider stance for the archer squats. This is the third exercise of the circuit. And usually by this point, at the third exercise in the circuit, I'm really starting to feel the burn. So now it becomes really an endurance challenge to push through the rest of the circuit. And again, I'm keeping the majority of my weight on the backs of my feet, all right, the soles and the heels, trying not to lean forward too much. And there's Wilson, one of my cats. He is quite possibly the friendliest cat in the world, and he decided to come join us. So I finish up my set. I aimed for 20 reps total for the archer squats, which would be 10 reps per side since I'm alternating sides in this exercise. And once I complete it, the only rest I took was to let Wilson into that door, and then I went right to the floor for the fourth and final exercise, the single leg glute raises. So I did these in an alternating fashion as well, and I'm going to fast forward through these because I don't want this video to be too long, but again, I did 10 reps per side or 20 reps total. And after those single leg glute raises, I completed the first round of my circuit. So at that point, you rest for 2 minutes at least. If you need more rest, that's perfectly fine. And then after that rest, you want to go ahead and repeat. Do it for 3 more rounds, or however many rounds you feel like you're up for. So I went ahead and completed the workout since I had enough battery on the camera. And as you can see, I did some jumping lunges. I also did some jumping squats. You know, kicked it up a notch. This is one way that you can make it more intense and make this more challenging as you get better and build strength and endurance. I kept the archer squats the same, maybe just sped them up a little bit. And I also did something different with the single leg glute raises. All right, I did unilateral, meaning one leg at a time, and then switched. So 10 reps and then switch legs. And one of the things you're going to notice about circuit training, any of the circuits that I show you, is that it's just as much a cardio workout as it is a strength and endurance workout. So as you go through this, you're going to be breaking a sweat, you're going to be out of breath, but that's great, all right? It's going to improve your cardio, improve your aerobic capacity, help you burn fat. And don't worry, I know this is already the second circuit workout I've shown you on my channel, but I will show you plenty of other formats, so don't worry about that. And I'd like to conclude this video by just showing you some additional exercises that you can use if you want to change things up, like keep the format the same. You can always change up the exercises to one of these, all right? So these are going to be different variations of lunges and squats. For example, these walking lunges, I love doing those around my basement. Sumo squats means a wide stance, all right? That'll really improve the flexibility. You also have close squats, all right, with your feet and knees together. And of course, isometric holds like the wall sit are good examples. I mean, I could keep going. There's a lot of body weight leg exercises you can implement. But I just want to take a moment to say thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new to Minus the Gym. I'm all about body weight exercise and wholesome nutrition. All right then, I will see you in the next video.